and I've stressed it already. I think that, to me, the big thing is just everyone. I think everyone in their role, no matter what it is, and the DD world needs to be talking about and thinking about employment earlier. I really think that's going to be a huge game changer if we're all actively doing that with improving employment outcomes. My other thing that I would stress, I'm a big proponent of volunteering, especially when I work with teens, because I know we all want to get paid for work, especially a teen. I totally get that. But the great thing about volunteering is, you can go get your feet wet and maybe just work an hour or two a week. And, it's a schedule that works for you. And with transportation being such a huge issue with employment, volunteering is a great way to get your feet wet, get something on that resume, have someone that's not your teacher or your mom, have great things to say about your work ethic. I think while paid employment is the end game, that's what we all want to strive for. We have to talk about volunteering and promote it more, because if we can get, especially our teen clients doing that more, that's going to help more with those soft skills, with building stamina. And also, a lot of times with volunteering, you might go in and think, wow, I'd love to go help animals. I love animals. And then you get in there, man, maybe you're not so interested in animals anymore. It's not at all what you thought it would be. And it's kind of a low risk thing. You just, then you can try something else, and you're not committed to this paid job you signed up for and put all this training into, and it's not even what you thought it was. And so, that's my other recommendation is.
The older I get, the more I'm starting to realize how your personal connection and your professional connections really do matter. And it's always good to not, to volunteer. Say you can't get start out getting a good job, but it's always good to keep yourself open and to volunteer as much as possible, because for instance, I've been knowing Dr. Petrie for forever, it feels like. So I started in school with in college with our program STEM Scholars. Didn't think about a decade later I would be working for her with Propel. To be doing the same thing she did for me. I would be helping her do other things with students too. So that's really it's kind of a full circle moment.
I would definitely say volunteering, and then modeling. What I like to do, whether it be with the staff member, what I did with a lot of my younger employees was that something would happen, and then I would pull them aside, either pull them into my office, hey, let's just talk for a little bit, and then we would just kind of talk about it. And that goes back to the self-assessment and self-reflection. This happened, let me explain to you maybe the way you could have handled this and had more success. And so then we talk about that. It's the same thing within a family. I'm working with my middle daughter now. She just started her first real professional job. And so what I do is, when she gets off work, because obviously right now she's working from home, I'll talk to her about some of the things she dealt with. And okay, so what did you do? How did you handle that situation? And we just talk through it. And it's not hey, you did this wrong, that's terrible. No, it's more like, oh, so what do you think about that? What could you have done differently? Do you think it was successful? And just kind of talking through those things.
Do you see the role of a mentor, a non-parent mentor, as being important to youth?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, that was something I was going to add toward the end, but creating, not only having a mentor, but other youth, focus groups, support groups, where youth are coming together to share insight and their experiences, and just to have that additional support outside of the family. Because one thing that I was going to mention is that sometimes there are emerging adults that do not have the support of their family. So how do you deal with that? How do you maintain some self-motivation or encourage self-motivation when the youth does not have that internal support system? So definitely having a mentor or some other focus group or group where that youth can gain some support and feel confident in what they're wanting to accomplish, I think is very helpful.
There's a lot of change in the family dynamic with the emerging adult, with them, transitioning into adulthood. There's naturally going to be conflict there, and helping parents to understand what that's going to look like. Because a lot of times when you get there, like with our daughters, we weren't expecting what happened. It was like, what just happened here? But helping them to understand what to expect when that time comes, and also to understand that this is a time when you can't, your natural tendency is going to be, hey, you know what, you figure it out since you have all the answers. That's the last thing you want to do, because that's the time when they really need you the most. You're going to have to take a step back, but you're going to have to be there because they're really going to need you. And so it's just that transition is one that's often underestimated, and a lot of things can happen during that transition. And that's what sinks a lot of our young adults before they even get started. So the having the proper understanding of what's going to occur during this phase, and then skills that you can utilize to kind of help your young adult through that transition are going to be tremendously helpful. And so for us, that's where we come in, because a lot of times, even as a parent, you can teach your young adult A, B, C, and D, but sometimes when they hear it from a third party, from an outside party, it has so much more weight. And so we try to partner with the parent, we teach them what to expect, and then we work with the young adult, as to how they can make this transition earlier, easier, more successfully. And so a lot of times that outside influence is extremely important. And so don't be afraid to reach out,
Do you all put any special emphasis on mentors? Do you help these youth find mentors in their community or their networks? Is that another piece?
It is.
To
So
it?
we do also do professional coaching. So we've got a pretty vast network of professionals across multiple industries. And so what we also try to do is pair up people with a professional mentor that they can work with. And a lot of times it doesn't really matter what your career choice is, because if you want to move up, we've got people that have experience in a lot of different areas, but we can help you do that. But we try to pair you up also with a mentor that can kind of help you with a lot of that transition as well. So so we do a lot of that. I will send you some information about some of the other programs that we have, just so you can get a sense, because it covers the gamut.
Makes sense. And from the way you describe it, it sounds as if you really, for AJ, you're really providing kind of a mentoring role for her. You're really kind of providing that one-on-one support. Is that important? Do you see that as being a pretty necessary component for all these kids, is to have at least one person they can rely on?
Yes, I think that is very important. And I don't want to sound bad, but I think it will be best if it's not a parent as well, because I feel, it's that authority figure. So I'll give an example. So another student, we're going to call him BD. So BD does really well, in a school setting. So when he's at home, then it's hard for him to stay focused, because he's in that home setting to where, he feels like, oh, I'm at home, I should be able to, be comfortable, just chill out, relax. But it's just with everything moving online, it's like, no, you need someone to tell you like, hey, we're still in school, you need that motivation. And coming from mommy and dad is like sometimes not effective, because it's just like, okay, but it's like you need that, you need someone else that's, that can motivate you, that's doing the same thing and that can talk you through. So I feel like I am like, a mentor / education assistant at the same time, because I also want to check in, like, like, how are you doing, and how can I best serve you during this time?